Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is Monday, March 16th, 2020. We're here for the purpose of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council. It is 7:34. I ask that you all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Mike.
Hello?
Clerk Tamer, I'd ask you to call roll.
Kennedy?
Here.
Conquest?
Here.
Brennan?
Here.
Mulliner?
Here.
Spoiler?
Here.
Sabatino?
Here.
Levin? No,
Here.
Leder, excuse me. Leder? Dunn?
Here.
Graham?
Here.
Lemke?
Here.
York? Jackson? Toledo? Toledo? Alderman Toledo?
Alderman Toledo, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Mayor. I cannot hear Clerk Tamer.
Alderman Toledo.
So I don't know if my name was called.
Are you here? Say yes or aye.
Yes, I
Alderman
am present.
Toledo, can you hear me?
Alderman Toledo,
Yes, Alderman Toledo.
here.
Thank you.
There we go.
Park. Here. Levin.
Here.
12 present, 2 absent.
12 present, 2 absent. I would ask for a little bit of patience from the audience and anybody who's in attendance. We're doing our best to create social distancing up here, also the use of some new microphones as well. I think for obvious reasons, we are changing things up a little bit. The train station project update from CDM Smith will not happen tonight. And I'd like to take this opportunity to address the council and the residents of Elmhurst before we move forward. I wanted to take a moment to address the community on the rapidly changing status of the spread of the coronavirus. As of today, there are 105 confirmed cases in the state of Illinois, including DuPage County, and we are prepared for the inevitable, the coronavirus cases within our city. With daily messages from our president, governor, and just recently our county representatives, many of us have reached a heightened level of concern that ranges from our family's health and well-being to the future of our businesses, operations, and general state of affairs. The main concern we are faced with as a nation is to protect those most at risk, which include our seniors and those with compromised immune systems or other underlying health issues. We are being asked to practice social distancing, cancel planned events, close facilities and businesses, rethink our operations, stay at home, and work from home to limit exposure to groups of people. In essence, we are being asked to do whatever we can to slow the spread of the virus. If we make no changes to our daily routines, our healthcare system is at great risk for potential service and supply shortages. By following the guidelines set forth by health experts, we can flatten the curve of the spread of this pandemic and do our part to keep our community healthy and safe. As an organization, the City of Elmhurst continues to take preventative and proactive measures based on the daily information we are receiving. Elected officials and city staff are committed to serving you, even more so during these troubled times. We will continue to provide the community with vital services, and we encourage anyone who needs to conduct city business to do so by phone or online if possible. The City Council will be holding a special meeting this evening to discuss the potential plans for a civil emergency declaration, which would be used temporarily and in a limited fashion to ensure that the effects of the coronavirus are mitigated and minimized, and that the residents and the visitors in the city remain safe and secure. This will allow for emergency action in the event that the City Council does not have the ability to meet to approve emergency operating procedures. To help combat the spread this past weekend, City building maintenance staff, along with the cleaning contractor, completed a City Hall building-wide sanitization. We will continue to clean our public facilities multiple times per day. The governor announced that the March 17th election will continue as scheduled, which means City Hall will be open as a polling site. City Hall will be sanitized again after Election Day. City staff have been meeting extensively on emergency operating plans to ensure that the quality of service to the community is not compromised. Information on the coronavirus continues to be monitored and evaluated as it is received, and we will continue to update the community with this information. I am asking the residents of Elmhurst to remain calm and aware. Please practice social distancing and stay home whenever possible. To our businesses and organizations, many of which have been forced to close their doors or cancel their events for the upcoming weeks, I understand the hardships that you are facing. We will continue to engage with our restaurant and bar operators who have been forced to close in-person dining through March 30th. We will be sharing information on the community. We will be sharing information to the community on businesses that will remain open for carry-out, drive-through, and curbside delivery services. This information is currently being compiled and will be posted on the city's website. I am asking the community to please continue to support our local businesses to the extent you feel comfortable during these trying times. Links to resources and the latest developments will be posted on the city's website as they become available. This includes links to the IDPH, which is the Illinois Department of Public Health, and the CDC website. I would caution all of you and ask you to be wary of information and rumors received directly from social media. Elmhurst is a strong and united community. I am proud to stand beside you through all times, including times of trouble. For now, please join me in supporting our nation's plan to responsibly do your part to slow the spread of the coronavirus. On behalf of the City of Elmhurst, we are here for you. It is our honor and privilege to serve the residents of Elmhurst. I ask you to please be smart, be safe, and be well. To all of you, please use your best judgment moving forward. We are in uncharted territory, but we will prevail if we continue to communicate and work together. Thank you. Okay. We will also have reports later on in the meeting. On to public forum. This is agenda item 4. This is an opportunity for anybody in the audience to address the council on any item they so choose. We ask once you're recognized that you make your way to the microphone over here on my right. Due to work that we have to get done here this evening and work that others who may want to speak, we ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. We ask that you state your name as we are recording this. Address is optional. Clerk Tamer, is there anybody who has signed up for public forum this evening?
Yes, Mayor. James Colbert.
Good evening. Thank you. James Colbert, 234 North Willow Road. And I'd like you to ask you to consider what will happen if 10% of the truck drivers get sick at the same time. Now, we grow a lot of our own food, produce a lot of our own food, but if they can't deliver it to us, we're going to be in a tough shape. And I'm asking you to reconsider your recent decisions on hoop houses and raised garden beds, and ask you to maybe just make it temporary, put a sunset clause in there to allow people to help them grow food at home. We're not done with our frost yet. Can you please help us? Thank you.
Nicole Virgil.
Nicole Virgil, 598 South Fairview. Part of the ordinance you're going to vote on later tonight reads, CDC currently recommends community preparedness and everyday prevention measures be taken by all individuals and families. I am an individual trying to practice preparedness by having a food source in my backyard year-round. Claims made by opposition regarding noise pollution and flooding due to hoop houses have been debunked by neighbors and expert witnesses whose videos are now available on Right to Garden YouTube channel. FOIA requests show that hoop house opposition was actually quite minimal relative to the support. 100 square foot cold frames do not provide the thermal mass or space to sustain much of anything, so please do not kid yourself that lesser compromise solutions were sufficient or appropriate. Elmhurst zoning code currently allows for accessory structures to be 21 feet tall. I only asked for 9 to 10 feet. Elmhurst code currently allows for 700 plus square foot maximums for accessory structures. I only asked for 360. We never exceeded our 30% max lot coverage. The city manager writes permits for membrane structures all the time, proving that you aren't too worried about them. On May 25th, Alderman Toledo, Mayor Morley, Mr. Grabowski, and the city attorney met with senators in Springfield to lobby against my efforts at the state level. Part of their strategy was to besmirch my integrity by claiming that the real reason we wanted to have a hoop house was to operate an illegal commercial enterprise. Using photos lifted from County Board Rep Liz Chaplin's blog, violating her copyright, and printing erroneous information on the images, they attempted to lead legislators to the conclusion that our family's whole objective was to run said enterprise. At 8:30 a.m. Friday, March 7th, 2014, my son and I had a meeting with Than Werner, zoning director. We wanted to know what the rules were for my son to run a garden stand out in front of our house for 3 hours every Saturday during the summer. After a 20-minute zoning lesson, he said, "Your project is a glorified lemonade stand. The city of Elmhurst does not regulate children's businesses." I asked him if we needed anything in writing. He said no. I trusted him. Who goes to City Hall for permission before the fact to run an illegal business? How does it profit the community now for individually self-reliant people to be denied the right to grow their own food year-round? What kind of mayor and alderman go after a city-sanctioned children's garden stand to make their mother look bad? You made the wrong call.
Ms. Virgil, you're at your 3 minutes. I'd ask you to wrap up your comments, please.
You say this is a local matter. Why don't you local officials fix it?
That's it, Mayor.
Okay, that's it for folks who had an opportunity to sign up for the public forum. At this time, is there anybody in the audience who did not have an opportunity to sign up but wishes to address the council at this time? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll consider public forum closed. On to announcements. Any announcements from the dais or the made-up dais that we have below us? Clerk Tamer.
I just want to say that voting is still going on tomorrow, March 17th, for the general primary election. Hours are 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Questions can be directed to the DuPage County Election Commission at 630-407-5600. Special note that the Lexington Square Elmhurst polling location has been relocated to the DuPage County Fairgrounds, 2015 Manchester Road in Wheaton. Also, the DuPage County Election Commission urges people to utilize the 6 feet rule and sanitize while visiting polling places. Thank you.
Any other announcements? Seeing none, I'll ask, we'll move on to the consent agenda. This is, I would ask now, regarding the consent agenda, are there any aldermen on the dais or in council chambers who wish to have any item removed from the consent agenda to vote no or provide further comment? Alderman Honquist?
6.13.
I'm sorry?
6.13.
613. Alderman Bram, you had your hand up?
Yes, 6.6 and 6.15.
6.6. 6.15. Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda minus items 6.6, 6.13, and 6.15. Motion by Alderman Mulliner, second by Alderman Dunn. Clerk Tamer.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Honquist?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
Mulliner?
Aye.
Deuter?
Aye.
Sabatino?
Aye.
Leader? Absent. Dunn?
Aye.
Graham?
Aye.
Polemski?
Aye.
York? Absent. Toledo?
Aye.
Park?
Aye.
Levin?
Aye.
12 ayes, 0 nays, and 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays. Motion carries. Consent agenda minus items 6.6, 6.13, and 6.15 is approved. On to agenda item 6.6. This is a report out of Public Affairs and Safety. I would ask Clerk Tamer to read the recommendation.
Item 6.6. It is therefore the recommendation of the Public Affairs and Safety Committee that the City Council authorize the City Attorney to prepare the necessary documents for approval of the 2020 Explore Elmhurst Express Trolley Program. Signed, Danny Polumsky, Chair, Scott Levin, Vice Chair, and Alderman Norman Leader, Ward 2.
Okay, to put this before council, I'll ask for a motion to approve the report and recommendation as read. Motion by Alderman Polumsky, second by Alderman Levin. Alderman Polumsky, your report.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to defer to Alderman Bram, who pulled this report.
Oh, very good. Alderman Bram, you pulled this report. The floor is yours.
Thank you. It should be no surprise, I am not going to support this report, not because I don't like the trolley program. I think the trolley program is a great thing for the city of Elmhurst. Since its inception, it has grown in regards to the number of stops, the duration, the events that it is there to serve. But what it has not done, and I've made the request from day one, and the committee at that time actually said that it would be considered, but it has not been modified to go further north. The trolley program currently hits the central business district and goes south, but does not serve the north side residents, so therefore I will not be supporting this report.
Okay, any other comments? Alderman Polumsky.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to summarize this program. The Explore Elmhurst Trolley Program is funded with hotel motel tax revenue dollars, which we use. We've adopted a policy to funnel that towards visitor and tourism promotion. So the trolley is funded with the understanding that it will bring in visitors and Elmhurst residents to shop. It hits 3 different commercial areas. It does not go to the far south end of town where there is some commercial shopping at Butterfield, and it does not go far north, north of like 290, north of North Avenue. The understanding is that when people come for tourism purposes, the majority of those businesses are located in the 3 established stops for the trolley, and that's what remains.
Okay, anyone else? Clerk Tamer.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Honquest,
Aye.
Brennan,
Aye.
Mulliner,
Aye.
Deuter,
Aye.
Sabatino,
Aye.
Leader, absent, Dunn,
Aye.
Bram,
No.
Polumsky,
Aye.
York, absent, Toledo,
Aye.
Park,
Aye.
Levin.
Aye.
11 ayes, 1 nay, 2 absent.
11 ayes, 1 nay, motion carries. On to agenda item 6.13. This is a report out of Public Works. I'd ask Clerk Tamer to read the recommendation.
6.13. It is therefore the recommendation of the Public Works and Building Committee that staff be directed to proceed with obtaining an IDOT permit for the crossing, and if permitted, to use the funds listed above to pay for the labor and material needed to install this new mid-block crosswalk of Butterfield Road. Signed, Jim Kennedy, Chair, Marty Deuter, Vice Chair, Alderman Brennan, Ward 7, and Alderman Sabatino, Ward 1.
Okay, to put this before council, I'll ask for a motion to approve the report and recommendation as read. Motion by Alderman Kennedy, second by Alderman Deuter. Alderman Kennedy, your report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will defer to fellow 6th Ward Alderman, Alderman Honquest, who pulled this report.
Alderman Honquest, you pulled this report. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank Alderman Kennedy and the committee and staff for finally getting this resolved. The residents of the 6th Ward, particularly in that neighborhood, have been asking us to do this for quite some time, and it was difficult because Butterfield Road is a state road. So I know there's been a lot of work put into this, so I just want to thank everyone for their hard work. It's a good job. Thanks.
Very good. Any other comments? Alderman Bram.
Thank you. I also think this is a good project. I do only have one concern on the project overall, and that's procedurally. I believe it was Alderman Polumsky over the last 2 to few years have made statements during budget time about having things budgeted before actually approving projects. In this case, it is the opposite. we don't have dollars explicitly provided in the budget for this project, and overall, it is a low dollar amount, $25,000, but there isn't monies tied to this project. What is being recommended before us tonight is to take or utilize some of the monies from the sidewalk repair fund or account to do this project. I have concerns with that because this is not specifically what that account is for, so I will not be supporting this.
Any other comments? Clerk Tamer.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Honquest?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
Mulliner?
Aye.
Deuter?
Aye.
Sabatino?
Aye.
Leader? Absent. Dunn?
Aye.
Graham?
No.
Palumski?
Aye.
York? Absent. Toledo?
Aye.
Park?
Aye.
Levin?
Aye.
11 ayes, 1 nay, 2 absent.
11 ayes, 1 nay, motion carries. Agenda item 6.13 is approved. On to agenda item 6.15. This is an ordinance. I would ask Clerk Tamer to read the ordinance.
Not in here. Hold on one second. Do you have a copy? Part of my reading here. Okay. An ordinance amending Chapter 16 entitled Garbage and Rubbish of the Municipal Code of Ordinances of the City of Elmhurst, Illinois.
Okay, to put this before council, I'll ask for a motion to approve the ordinance as read. Motion by Alderman Kennedy, second by Alderman Deuter. Alderman Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will defer to Alderman Bram.
Alderman Bram, you pulled this ordinance. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Not much more to say that I said 2 weeks ago. I think that this continues the trend, at least in my perspective, about the inequitable rates between the various toter sizes, so I will not be supporting this.
Okay, any other comments? Clerk Tamer.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Honquest?
Aye.
Brennan?
Aye.
Mulliner?
Aye.
Deuter?
Aye.
Sabatino?
Aye.
Leader? Absent. Dunn?
Aye.
Graham?
No.
Palumski?
Aye.
York? Absent. Toledo?
Aye.
Park?
Aye.
Levin?
Aye.
11 ayes, 1 nay, 2 absent.
11 ayes, 1 nay, motion carries. Agenda item 6.15 is approved. On to agenda item 7, reports and recommendations of appointed elected officials. Mayor Morley, that's me. So I made a statement at the beginning of this meeting. I wanted to convey how serious the city of Elmhurst is taking the current situation. I want to give you a little background on what has happened over the past couple of days. City manager and I called a meeting last Thursday, just to give you an idea how fast this stuff is moving. We had a meeting last Thursday at 2 o'clock with Elmhurst College, District 205, Parks, the library, the hospital. Am I missing anybody? Okay, and at that time, all of those entities were open. We had a very productive conversation, but literally while we're in the meeting, we are getting new information and things are changing. And that rapid pace or escalation continues to this day with daily statements from our president and from our governor. I continue, even as we sit here, to get updates from the various COGs. As you're all aware, we're a member of DMMC, who have done an incredible job trying to navigate legally through all the directives we're getting through our state and federal governments. I want to single out IML, Illinois Municipal League, Brad Cole, DMMC, Suzette Quintel, and her entire staff. I also want to thank Chairman Cronin, who I've spoken to several times over the past couple of days with regard to this. One of the biggest issues that we have all had, and all of those folks I just mentioned had, is the Open Meetings Act is set up in such a way that it kind of puts us in a box and might limit us in these times of emergencies to do what we need to do. Today, At 3:45 or thereabouts, the governor's office issued an executive order which addresses some of the situation, but as I'm sure City Attorney Storino can tell you, there is a lot of unknowns within this directive of how things can actually be achieved legally. I also want to single out and thank city staff, certainly the city manager and everyone involved. And I know I'm going to miss people, and don't worry, there'll be plenty of opportunity because this is just the beginning, folks. But I do want to personally thank Chairman Kennedy, Polumsky, and Honquest, who came in yesterday along with Jim Grabowski and spent about 5.5 hours going through emergency responses that the city can and will be doing as it relates to the residents of Elmhurst. Cassandra Schreff, our communications director, who has issued countless press releases and has done her absolute best to get every bit of information out to the residents of Elmhurst. I personally want to also thank Erin Jason on our development team. She and her staff today alone contacted over 120 restaurants to see what we can do as the residents, as a city, to help the restaurants that are choosing to stay open to viably stay open. We will be posting that on our city website. And I said it earlier in this meeting, and I'll say it again. I would just ask the residents of Elmhurst to be safe, use their heads, be smart. We are at the beginning stages of this. I think we're going to go through a lot more before we see the light at the end of the tunnel. But that doesn't mean that if we don't use our heads, we will be safe. We won't be safe. We will be safe. Anecdotally, I will say this as well. I have taken the opportunity when I can to not only drive around town, but I have visited numerous grocery stores in town. And I can tell you this, with the exception of a few items that I would not consider critical, as in bottled water, when you can turn on your tap and get some of the best water in the United States, I don't see a shortage. In fact, I see literally hundreds of tons of food available for sale, and I think that will continue. So we as elected officials and the residents of Elmhurst will continue to do everything we can to continue to deliver our services and make sure the residents of Elmhurst are safe. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Likewise, I'd like to thank our city staff who've been going above and beyond during this crisis to keep the city facilities that we have sanitized and clean all hours of the day. We've been making many plans with the fire department, police department, public works, working with all of our communities in DuPage County to make sure that public safety is covered in the event that something happens where perhaps an entire shift of public safety workers in one community are taken out. We would be able to cover for each other. Locally here at City Hall, we're doing our best to keep all of the facilities sanitized. As Clerk Tamer said, we have open voting tomorrow. We will be sanitizing during and after that day as well, and doing our best to keep ahead of this. We are also trying to keep all of our facilities open to the extent that we can. We did close the museum and the one-room schoolhouse, though. We had a number of cancellations with the school district canceling school, so we did go ahead and close those. We have limited access at the fire stations and police station, and as I said, City Hall is open. But we strongly encourage residents to use alternative methods to conduct city business. We have many of our business programs online, including city stickers and permits, and we strongly encourage people to utilize those in this case. And then, Mayor, you may have said this in your opening comments, but I want to repeat it then. The best resources for people are the CDC website and the Illinois Department of Public Health website. That gives an up-to-date daily count of infected people and how many they're testing, along with best practices to use during this. Thank you.
Two things I forgot to add during my report, and then I'll ask Alderman if they have anything to add. We did cancel our Commissioner Appreciation event, which was last Thursday. Good news, bad news. The bad news was it was too late to cancel the food. The good news is we just shuttled it toward the police and fire, and I think they were happy to get it. The other thing I want to mention is that the 2020 census is still ongoing. Some people have said to me, well, I haven't received my notice in the mail yet. You don't have to receive your notice in the mail. You can go on our city website to learn more about it, but you can participate in the census directly online, and you don't need any prompting. The instructions are online for that. Reports and recommendations. Anyone else? Alderman Honquist.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to highlight something you mentioned earlier. I've talked to 3 small business owners in the last few days. They're very concerned, that this could last for an extended period of time. And there are, Alderman Polomsky shared something with me today. I was driving back from St. Louis picking up my daughter, so I didn't get full time to read everything. But there are low-interest loans available. Obviously, the Fed just reduced interest rates again, so there may be regular credit lines that are much more palatable for people. But we are working on that, as the mayor knows, and we will try and get information out to people in town. And please feel free to reach out as well. Thanks.
Okay, anyone else? Alderman Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the folks that is not here tonight is Alderman Leader. And the reason he's not here is because I told him not to come. If you are over 60 or you have any health issues, don't go out. This is really serious stuff. If you need things, if you need groceries, if you need medication, whatever you need, get your neighbors to help, get your family to help. This is going to get worse before it gets better. For all the kids that are home from school, I know it's hard not to be out running around, but you got to stay home. You have to do all you can as part of society to contain this, because that's why they closed the schools, to limit social contact and community spread. If we do this right, it will hurt, but it will be something that we can manage over the next several weeks so that we can get to something back to a level of normalcy. If we don't do this, we will be worse off than Italy, that has now 10 times the cases that the United States does today. We're about 11 days behind Italy, and they are somewhere in the region of 40,000 cases and had 500 people die on Saturday alone. We have to get in front of this. We've got to do our part. So please help your neighbors that might be more on the back nine of their golf career than the front nine, and do what you think is the right thing to do. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, any other business? Before I entertain a motion to adjourn, we are going to gavel back in for a special meeting, but the video folks have asked for a 1-minute break in between. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Polomsky, second by Alderman Levin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. 1-minute break.